Joining us on this broadcast are two eminent lawyers, Rizwan Siddiqui and Amitabh Sinha. Let me first come to you, Rizwan Siddiqui. You fought several criminal cases and in fact I've followed each one of them. Rizwan, don't you find this entire situation completely bizarre? The reason why I'm saying this is that here is a man who's languishing in the jail, and that too, when he has cooperated with the police, over 100 hours of questioning, multiple summons, and each summon he has responded to. So where is the need for custodial interrogation to begin with?
See, I completely agree with you. The problem is, it's in the system. The system needs to change because if the system does not change, these things are bound to happen. There are Supreme Court judgments. There are various Supreme Court judgments, which clearly show how, the entire operation is supposed to be conducted, how the police is supposed to behave, even if they are supposed to arrest, what is the process of arrest. There is a checklist which is supposed to be given to the magistrate. The magistrate has to go through all of these things. There is a very known judgment, Arnesh Kumar judgment. There is Lalita Kumari judgment. There is Priyanka Srivastava judgment, all delivered by the Supreme Court. Despite all of these things, the police do not follow a process of law. And more than that, the magistrates, they dispose of these applications in 2 and 3 minutes without even going through the mandatory checklist. So the problem is with the system, and because of the system, the misuse and abuse of power and dominant position by the police can be seen very often. Because this case is to do with renowned people, renowned figures. So therefore, we are here discussing this on public TV. But these things are happening every day on a daily basis. And what is indeed shocking is that the Supreme Court's, if there is a writ of habeas corpus filed after an illegal arrest, the magistrate, when he disposes of an application in 2 minutes or 3 minutes without even going to the mandatory checklist, then the High Court and the Supreme Court also do not touch that judicial order passed by a magistrate, saying that a writ of habeas corpus would not lie against a judicial order. Now, the basic question is that if an illegal arrest is done and the process that follows after an illegal arrest, even if it's a magistrate order which has been passed without application of judicial mind, then the High Court and the Supreme Court need to protect the fundamental rights of the person who's illegally arrested. It's very unfortunate that there is no process. There is no process followed. The Supreme Court and the High Court are not, giving any indication as to how a common man would be protected if these kind of things are done randomly by people misusing dominant position.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so this is something. This is a big question, for a common man, and I'm speaking as a common man with knowledge on law. Trying to see how a common man can be protected if this is the process that the Supreme Court and the High Court would also follow against a judicial order. See, there is a section called Section 219 in the Indian Penal Code which says that even a magistrate or a judge can be punished if he's passing an order without application of mind, meaning if he's trying to do something which indicates that he's not applied his mind and he's caused arrest of a person, or if he's caused judicial custody of a person. But unfortunately, there's no magistrate who has been punished despite this particular Section 219 being there since 1860. So here we have a failed system. Where I see is that a failed system which needs to be immediately looked into, so that the abuse and misuse of power and position by the police is in control and checked immediately. We have Supreme Court, coming out with
You know,
guidelines, coming
in
out with
fact,
judgments. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
In fact, Rizwan Siddiqui, sorry to interrupt you because, I also would like to bring in the other guests right now, but you make a very important and pertinent points at this juncture. And this is extremely worrisome because for everyone, every common person, in fact, corporates in Mumbai have been discussing this, Amitabh Sinha, that if today a media professional, if a corporate person like Vikas Khanchandani can suddenly be picked up for no rhyme or reason, then how exactly does this work in Mumbai, especially given the fact that it's the financial capital and this is how the Mumbai police basically behaves, especially given the fact that this is not even within their domain. Amitabh Sinha.
Exactly, Shyam. So the situation of this present Maharashtra government is very clear now. And being a commercial capital of the country, Mumbai is more important and sensitive, particularly about that law and order situation. See, every citizen in the country, be it businessman or common man, poor man, rich man, this democracy actually ensures free freedom and right to life. So now this Maharashtra government under Uddhav Thackeray, under the remote control of Sonia Gandhi, they have actually tried to make this entire Maharashtra government and state of Maharashtra in a police state, and the rule of law has become past days phenomenon. So why it is so? Because they have actually started showing their shamelessness. Supreme Court has made very clear in the Arnab Goswami's judgment, the justice, or the entire bench actually gave that clear, unanimous judgment under Justice Chandrachud, that, see, even the High Court also didn't apply the legal mind. But I am really appreciating the approach of Republic TV and Arnab Goswami, that again you people have reposed faith in judiciary and rule of law. So you have followed the process and you have again approached the High Court. That is very good, and I think that it will set a precedent, despite the fact that the High Court in the last case in Arnab's matter, they didn't apply their legal mind, and Supreme Court actually almost passed a stricture against the High Court also, and obviously the judicial magistrate, because they are under acute state government's pressure, I suppose. I mean, I am being a lawyer. I am very much clear. But now, because Supreme Court has taken that decision, so I hope High Court will take judicious approach to evaluate the situation, and he will give relief, because actually bona fide expectation from not only Republic but every aware citizen of the country. And I think that the ultimate relief, which I am telling everybody from yesterday, that the ultimate relief should come from Supreme Court, and the entire matter should be ultimately transferred to any neutral state away from Maharashtra vis-a-vis this Republic case, because the provisions are there. Under 406 of CRPC, the transfer, all criminal cases can be transferred to a neutral state. So the final remedy is through that, and Supreme Court should be approached. But today I hope that High Court will show its judicious mind and give relief to your CEO.
Consider this, Swapnil Kothari, when our editor-in-chief, Arnab Goswami, put out those confidential mails, those mails that were sent out by BARC, the very premise for this entire investigation, as Parambir Singh has been pointing out, was the BARC complaint. Today, BARC has told the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting that there is no case against Republic Media Network. Shouldn't perhaps the court now take cognizance of the fact that BARC has clearly said that there is no case? So what exactly is the Mumbai police really investigating?
No question, Shravan. That is the first nail in the coffin as far as the case of the police is concerned against in the TRP scam. Because if the complainant himself is saying that there is no such disciplinary action taken against Republic TV, and there is no such finding as such that they were involved in that, that helps in that sense. But that is not a conclusive matter. Because the investigation has been embarked upon, the investigative process and the court has to look at the merits of the case, be that as it may, whatever hollow merits as they may be, as advocated by your lawyers. The point is very simple, that these emails may be confidential, but they absolve you. And you are absolutely right and justified in putting them in the public domain today, so that your viewers who do not have access to the court system or who may not understand how the courts work are able to understand, at least on a peripheral level, that you people are not involved and your viewership continues unabated, and so does your sponsorships and so do your advertisements. That is one. Number two is that the court today should be taking cognizance of that as a broader picture, that there is no such TRP scam established against Republic TV, or there is a chance of it not being established. And in the process, given the fact that Vikas has cooperated for 100 hours and he's always complied with the summons, and so has every other gentleman of the Republic TV network, including whoever the ladies are who are at the officer level, the court needs to grant him bail simply because he is not a flight risk. He is not going to tamper with the evidence, and simply because he is a cooperative man.
Absolutely.
100 hours of questioning is clear indication of that. What is most paramount here is the application of judicial mind, as pointed out by my learned colleagues on the panel. That seems to have been exponentially, or should I say shockingly absent in the magistrates court yesterday, because this is something which they should have appreciated yesterday itself and released him on bail, because I'm sure for an hour and a half, if the arguments were on by Republic TV's lawyers, I'm sure all of these points, including these exculpatory emails, were shown to the magistrate, and he should have come to a conclusion. But be that as it may, that's the reason why we have appeal courts. That's the reason why we have High Court, and then that's the reason why we have Supreme Court when the High Court also errs, as it did in Arnab's case in 306, under 306. So what happens is that you have to work with this system, and you have to keep hammering the system again and again, as far as your particular case or your particular prong of your case is concerned, that this case does not have any merit. You say malice, legal malice, vendetta, politics, whatever you may say, but that is not going to hold as much ground as much as the fact that the case is not substantiated. That is what is most paramount. You can say, I can say hundreds of things. I'm not saying that that is not the base of this case. What I'm trying to say is that for a judge to arrive at a conclusion, it is very mandatory for him to come to a conclusion that there is no substantive evidence, and hence this case needs to go. That is what I'm trying to say. Say, for example, 306. Shravan, I'll just take one more minute. In 306, there was another section which was 34. Common intention. 3 gentlemen involved, 3 accused, one which is Arnab Goswami. The 3 do not even know each other. The question of common intention doesn't arise. That is where the case falls flat. So if the common intention doesn't arise, there was no mens rea. If there was no mens rea, the question of 306 does not apply, simply because these 2 were at the apogee and the perigee poles apart, the accused and the victim. So that is how the case comes. And then, that whole malice thing will apply for compensation. You have to apply separately for compensation, make an application for that look, this is vexatious litigation, this is malicious prosecution, as we call it in the law of torts. And that is why we need to be compensated. Whether you are compensated from the state exchequer or from the individual parties is for the courts to decide. You may agitate one way or the other, that particular aspect. But this is something which that concept of malice which you are talking about, malice and malefides, has to have a supportive application. That needs to go in a court of law. That may or may not form the basis of acquittal or say release on bail of Vikas Khanchandani. That is separate.
Right.
What I'm talking is you need compensation for that, right? You can't just say that, okay, this is malice. We've been hounded. Fine, you've been hounded. So what do I do about it? I release Vikas on bail. Fine. But that's not the reason why I'm releasing. I'm releasing because he's a gentleman. He's cooperated 100 hours.
In fact, gentlemen, what worries everyone today is the high-handedness of the police and in the foolhardy manner that they have operated all this while. Scant regard for the due process of law, scant regard for all the evidence that has now been put forth and put out in public domain, despite that Mumbai police chooses to look the other way. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on this broadcast.